Been previously recorded.
Today we present a special Best of Money Chat Now with Larry Steinhaus. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show because it's time for the Best of Money Chat Now with your host, Larry Steinhaus.
Good morning, I'm Larry Steinhaus, and welcome to Money Chat Now. Money Chat Now is a politically charged stock market pre-show, giving you the politics behind the biggest moves in the stock market. It is presented with comedic common sense by an expert in financial literacy, and hey, that's me, Larry Steinhaus. Hey, by the way, my Twitter handle is @LarrySteinhaus, and you can find me on Facebook, TikTok, and other social media by just searching Larry Steinhaus. All right, just a reminder, of course, if you like the show or if you're watching the show online, hit that like button, hit that share button, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. You can also comment live during the show on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn, and of course, say hi so I know you're watching. Somebody said good morning, but I can't tell who it is. I don't know why. All right, anyway, Money Chat Now is brought to you by Investor Schooling, and of course, you can attend a complimentary class next Thursday by going to investorschooling.com, and there you will learn about real estate investing and stock options trading, and you'll learn it from those who do it every day. And I so appreciate you guys watching online. Hey, Charles, thanks a lot. Good morning. Let's talk about my absolute favorite president ever, Mr. President Biden. Why is he my favorite president? Because I've never had so much fun making fun of our president before. Anyway, so it's been a whole year since the virus took over this country by storm. No, I'm not talking about the coronavirus. I'm referring to the Biden virus. Let's talk about some of the memorable moments of the past year. If you remember, Biden, the babbling fool, told President Trump during the debate that he, Biden, would shut down the virus and not the economy. Well, let's see how he did with that brilliant campaign promise. In the past year, every headline reads that there are more COVID deaths reported in 2021 than, of course, in 2020. Well, I'm kind of guessing that didn't work out so well for him. By the way, as far as not shutting down the economy, technically he didn't. But with the disastrous mask and vaccine requirements, he created a massive hole in the amount of healthcare workers that are available. You know, to take care of the very COVID patients that Biden suggested he wanted to help. Well, here's another interesting one too. How about Afghanistan? Well, he definitely solved this problem. The war, or should I say, I guess the peacekeeping mission in Afghanistan is all gone. And he left Afghanistan with all the war machines, including tanks, planes, ammunition, and high-tech defense equipment, so that when the Taliban took over 6 days later, the Taliban would be fully armed to go to war with the surrounding nations. Brilliant move, if you're a fan of the Taliban, that is, obviously, right? He also left thousands of people there to fend for themselves when he abruptly moved all the troops out. Bravo once again. Well, here's also another good one. He had the highest employment growth in history and brags about it. I gotta tell you, this fool actually believes that after the world closed businesses because of COVID and government overreach, that businesses who reopened and hired back their employees is employment growth? I don't think so. But wait, there's more. My favorite topic? Hey, inflation. Hey, Biden, I want to thank you for making all my property values go up about 30% in the past year. And for that matter, thanks for letting me charge rents that are also about 35% higher as well. That's awesome. But then again, aren't you the party that's supposed to be helping the poor and the middle class? Well, Biden, these tenants of mine, you know, you're not helping them, you help me. So it's basically just another millionaire getting richer. So thanks a lot. And while you're making me richer, you're hurting the very people you promised to help with inflation. Hey, how about those gas prices, folks? I'm so glad I could raise my rents to pay for the 50% increase in gas prices. Well, how about this? How about Build Back Better? I would comment what's in it, but as we all know, Democrats don't even know what's in the bill or any bill that they're working on until after it passes. So And since Biden's own party won't even vote for it, we may never know what's in it. Hey, Biden, instead of Build Back Better, why not just put everything back to where you found it and make America great again? Let's not forget the classic new phrase that we all learned this year. You know, let's go Brandon. This has become so popular that not only are there t-shirts, hats, and cars being plastered with it. If you haven't seen mine yet, it'd be interesting. Mine has all wrap that says "Let's go Brandon." But not only are there hats and cars and hats and cars and t-shirts plastered with it, but there are also stores opening called "Let's Go Brandon" stores. I'm telling you, it actually sounds like Biden did create a new economy in stores that sell "Let's Go Brandon" merchandise. How about the soon-to-be war in Ukraine? Well, not really a war. Russia's really just going to knock on the door to Ukraine and say, hey, this is ours now. And the Ukraine will continue to beg Biden to help. Hey, what will Biden do? He will do what they say in Brooklyn. Forget about it. No, not because he doesn't want to help, because he's truly going to forget about it. But of course, my favorite accomplishment in the past year is how quickly Joe Biden can change Joe's clothes when he pooped his pants after meeting the Pope. And now for the greatest part. I get to use fun phrases like President Poopy Pants, Gestapo Joe, Brain Dead Biden, and the Nazi in charge. So here's to another year of Brain Dead Biden, President Poopy Pants, Gestapo Joe Biden. I can't wait to see what you're going to do next. Hey, if I left anything out, please leave a comment in the social media channels, and I'll sure to mention it. All right, I want to say hello to Tommy who's watching online. Thanks so much, man. Hey, let's talk a little bit about housing prices. Well, the housing report came out yesterday, and sales fell 4.6% in December. I got to tell you, this number is a reflection of just pre-owned homes to start with, and I often wondered why they don't call them used homes like they do with cars. Why do they call them pre-owned homes? They're used homes. All right, the report says that 6.18 million homes sold in December nationally, and it should be noted that the median home price is now $358,000, and that's an increase from last year from about 16%. You know, I told you before my houses went up 35%. They did, but this includes some of the states that didn't go up that much. So sales of used homes, yeah, I guess that doesn't sound that great after all. Let me rephrase that. So sales of pre-owned homes were down 7.1% year over year, and here's an interesting part of the report. The reason for the slowdown isn't what you think. It isn't financial or lack of interest, but it's because of a lack of inventory still. This is certainly something that was different than the 2006-2008 run-up. During that time, the inventory was available, and the prices just ran up and ran up and ran up. It appears that many are still not ready to move. For decades, it's been statistically shown that most people move within 7 miles of their prior home. It also appears that many are satisfied with their current home, or maybe, honestly, they're just afraid of what, the Joe Biden economy will bring this year and what's going on right now, because it's nuts. All right, let's take a break, and I'll see you in a minute.
Okay, so you've thought about investing in real estate, houses, apartment buildings, properties, but don't really know where to start? Well, what if you could very easily learn how to gain strategies to use other people's money to buy and sell houses in the Philadelphia area? If you could learn and network with successful area real estate investors and how to produce monthly income on rental properties without headaches, that place is Investor Schooling. With Investor Schooling, you'll learn from 2 Philadelphia area rockstar real estate investors, Phil Falcone and Larry Steinhaus, about how to buy and sell properties the easy way and teach you basic and advanced techniques to help you make money in real estate. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online visual classes 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate. Call for free information and get a complimentary pass to one of these classes. But don't delay, as these complimentary passes are limited. Call the number on your screen now or visit investorschooling.com. investorschooling.com.
All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I am your host, Larry Steinhaus. And of course, if you'd like more information on Investor Schooling, you can go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829, 866-424-2829. Of course, I want to thank everybody for listening on WWDB. And of course, I want to thank you all for watching on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter And there's an anonymous user, I don't know who you are, but it's interesting. He says that the fact that wages are staying the same is what's killing me. Rent is going up and inflation is murdering me from a financial standpoint. Yeah, I'm sure. Hey, I want to say hello to Jane and Mick and Tom. Thanks, guys. Hey, if you're a fan of this show, you know that I've been predicting the Russia-Ukraine event to happen in February this year. I detailed the reasons why I would wait until February, such as avoiding a takeover before Christmas, and of course, the scary Omicron variant, that would keep some of the troops from reporting to work. So there it is. It's about to be a week before February, and the world is getting tense. The only problem is that we have cowards and self-preserving leaders in charge of the surrounding countries, and this basically means the Ukraine is doomed, and they know it. First of all, Germany, who may or may not retaliate to help the Ukraine get 40% of it, where they get 40% of their oil from. So Germany gets 40% of their oil from it, right? So they're not going to do anything. Russia, basically, and they also get all their oil from Russia as well. It also means that if Germany even says, hey, please don't invade Ukraine, Russia says no oil for you. This leaves Germany being held hostage by Russia. Now take the UK and the United States. Both are threatening sanctions against Russia. Neither of them are saying they would fly in troops or war machines to defend the Ukraine. They are simply saying they would impose sanctions. None of the news reports are stating what these sanctions are, but what can they be? We will not import toilet paper to Russia? How about electronics or cars? Well, people, because most of these things come from China anyway, they aren't really going to notice. Hey, if we could only hold back, the supply of vodka, but most of it's made in Russia anyway. In fact, because of the bottlenecks here, we can't even get the goods to get the goods from the bottlenecks to withhold from Russia. Of course, we have our big mouth politicians who try to play bully, but seriously, Russia is drinking their homemade vodka and laughing at them. Anthony Blinken, Secretary of State, has been interviewed by the Communist News Network, CNN, and with a straight face he said, if a single additional Russian force goes to Ukraine in an aggressive way, that would trigger a swift, severe, and united response from us in Europe. This is Blinken? Really? President Braindead said an invasion of the Ukraine would be the most consequential thing that ever happened to the world since World War II. Most consequential thing that ever happened to the world since World War II. Is he serious? Did he forget about a few of these invasions? Like Chechnya, Kargil, the Congo, Ethiopia, Haiti, Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Panama, Vietnam, Falklands, Iran, Afghanistan, Thailand, Tanzania, Lebanon. Honestly, I could go on, but it would take up the whole show. So here we are. Russia is about to invade the Ukraine, and the United States is threatening sanctions? By the way, here are the things that the U.S. exports to Russia. You ready? Mineral fuels to make plastic and precious metals. Now don't forget there's an economy here for those items, and even if the U.S. tries to stop the shipment of these items, Russia's just basically going to find them elsewhere from, their buddies in maybe China. So here's what Russia exports to us. The biggest things they export to us are petroleum and wheat. Sounds like a standoff to me. So here's my prediction. Russia's going to invade the Ukraine within 3 weeks from now. President Braindead will make a speech about it and forget the point of the speech, about halfway through it. The world will laugh. The Ukraine will be part of Russia within a week of basically the so-called invasion. By the way, write this down and see if I'm right on this one, especially the part about Braindead's speech. Oh, by the way, the stock market will fall in the news, so be prepared. I'm almost wondering if Wall Street is already thinking this is going to happen, and that might be the cause of the past 2 weeks. In a late addition to this story, by the way, the State Department on Sunday ordered the families of all American personnel and the U.S. Embassy in Ukraine to leave the country amid heightened fears of a Russian invasion. So just to add to the stupidity, the State Department actually said this, you ready? They actually do not travel to Ukraine due to the increased threats of Russian military action and COVID-19. COVID-19? Really? Do they have more COVID-19 in the Ukraine than the rest of the world? Unbelievable. look, some people are going to have to cancel their plane travel to Ukraine this summer because I'm not sure if the ticket to Ukraine will now need to say a ticket to Russia instead. By the way, if you take a trip to Ukraine, when they land, all the passengers will now sing "Back in the USSR." Ay, ay, ay. All right. Lewis, hey, thanks. I appreciate you guys watching. All right, let's talk about train robberies. So some of the best Western movies included scenes of train robberies. Where the robbers run up to the train riding horses, jump in the open boxcar, and throw out the safe with all the money in it as the robbers jump off. Some of these movies were a little silly in a depiction of train robberies, but get this. In California, especially, train robbing has become so easy that many people do it for sport. The trains are robbed so often that the empty boxes are actually littering the train tracks and the depots to the point where it looks like a picture of a natural disaster. I don't know if you guys have seen these pictures, but it is amazing, right? Once again, the brilliant Gavin Useless has made crime legal. So guess what, criminals? Oh, wait, criminals. I think we can't call them criminals anymore, can we? I know. Let's call them merchandise owners without receipts. Undocumented owners of items. So the undocumented owners of items rarely get caught. But when they do, they might be charged with a misdemeanor if the judge is in a bad mood that day. That's it, basically, right? So the police aren't even wasting their time going on these calls. And besides, they've been defunded anyway. Union Pacific says that it's seen a 160% jump in criminal rail theft in Los Angeles since December 2020. When Useless said that he's not going to prosecute criminals anymore. So the total losses to Union Pacific have come to $5 million over the past year. That doesn't include losses tallied by customers shipping on its rails. In other words, this is just people who are sending freight, not people who are ordering things. By the way, I wonder who will pay for this problem in the cost of higher insurance, basically to ship things, right? I know you and I will, of course. But on the bright side, at least our taxes aren't only going to help the lazy people to get a job, we also get to pay for their new TV with higher shipping insurance charges. On the other hand, maybe these undocumented owners of things are actually smarter than the documented owners of things. When I go to Best Buy website and find that something is out of stock, it's possible that these undocumented owner of what I'm looking for is already enjoying it. They avoid the empty shelves and lack of inventory by taking it before it even gets to the store. Actually, I think it's brilliant. I wonder if they ship Teslas via train. Maybe that's why there's so many in California. Hey, Jose, thanks for watching. Hey, Carrie, thanks so much for watching. Totally appreciate it. Hey, let's talk real quick about Germany's revenge. During the 12 years Hitler was in power in Germany from 1933 to 1945, he claimed the Germans were the superior race. He killed millions in concentration camps and controlled the media just like politicians do now. Here's a scary thought now, and I'm telling you, you're only going to hear this on this show. No one else is talking about this. What if Germany is now getting its revenge and controlling the world and the public like they did before? I discovered something hidden in a news article that petrifies me. It turns out, listen to this carefully, it turns out that Germany is the #1 contributor to the World Health Organization. That's correct. The WHO, who controls all the media around COVID, has a donor that's pushing the narrative of vaccines, masks, and lockdowns. This is worse than insider trading by our government. This is world manipulation. I realize you're putting it all together now, but think about it. The WHO can't change their views on COVID unless Germany allows them to do it, or Germany will cut them off. I don't understand this. Why am I Let's talk about Novak Djokovic. All right, if you have not heard about the tennis player Novak Djokovic and his trials and tribulation as he tries to play tennis in the Nazi-controlled Australia, you'll want to listen up. Now, look, I'm going to tell you that I'm not much of a tennis fan, so up until now, I really never heard of this guy anyway. Djokovic was scheduled to play on the Australian Open. He represents Serbia, and he's been in the Olympics, he's won awards, he's been instrumental in the formation of the president of the Professional Tennis Players Association, and he's even a philanthropist who helped preschoolers in underprivileged countries get an education. The guy's a really cool guy, right? Anyway, well, as many of the people concerned with how the COVID vaccine may affect him, he has chosen not to get vaccinated. He's heard that athletes are dying after they get vaccinated, so he's concerned. It's put him in a really tough situation with Australia, where he's scheduled to play, or was scheduled to play in the Australian Open. In other words, Australia has a country that says, papers, please, you cannot come here unless you like us. So you must do your papers, please, unless you must be vaccinated. Do it now. Ugh. I wonder if anyone read history books anymore. Really, seriously. For more information on countries like these views, including our cities like New York, Philadelphia, and now Washington, D.C. with these views, just look up their hero and mentor, Adolf Hitler, and you'll understand what's going on. I'm going to get to the part where Djokovic was actually put in a concentration camp as I continue with the story, but first let me tell you about how he got into the country without a vaccine. So he had applied for a visa and stated that he was not vaccinated. So he told me he wasn't vaccinated. However, he did state that he had COVID in December, and that gave him, natural immunity. Natural immunity? Is that legal anymore? Is that like one of those words you're not allowed to use anymore? I don't know. Anyway, what a concept. Anyway, he also took COVID tests before he left and when he arrived, and they were all negative. When he arrived in Melbourne, he was immediately put into a room in solitary confinement after he was stripped of all his belongings and detained for 8 hours before being moved to a detention facility, or in other words, a concentration camp. Yes, this detention facility was a hotel. However, this hotel, or former hotel, is being used for detaining criminals and now, of course, tennis stars who believe in medical freedom. His legal team fought the visa issue and actually won. Now the government became angry and said he would cause unrest if he was allowed to play, so we need to kick his healthy ass out of the country to prevent other people from speaking up about, Nazi-type vaccine mandates. Well, after he was freed, he was rounded up again and was now officially deported. He cannot and will not play in the Australian Open. To many, this guy is a scoundrel. Matter of fact, I had an argument with a radio host this weekend about this. How dare he try to use logic, rules, and freedom as a defense against Nazism? To me, he's a hero. He is a modern-day, Rosa Parks. Now, hopefully, he didn't forfeit his title in vain. Maybe, just maybe, the Australian people will rise up against the tyranny and become free again. Here, in what used to be America, of course, we now, as I said before, we have Washington, D.C. added to the Nazi regime as they prepare to ask for vaccine passports for everything from dining to entertainment. I don't even think you can enter a supermarket anymore without a passport. And this is how it starts, folks. It doesn't start with killing 6 million innocent people. It ends with killing 6 million innocent people. Stand up to the Nazi regimes and don't allow them to bully you into papers, please. Unbelievable. Just what's going on in this country is just amazing. All right, let's talk about free masks. Just when you thought the Biden administration couldn't get any dumber, they meet the challenge again. I think I say this every week. Whether you believe masks work or don't work, spoiler alert, they don't, and I proved it. And if you don't believe me, go to a website called followtherealscience.com, and you will see that they do not work. But even if you still believe they work, up until now, the CDC and the rest of the lying experts have all said all masks matter. Well, apparently, like other cool slogans that sound like all masks matter, they really don't unless you have a political agenda. Well, the brain-dead Biden administration clearly has a political agenda because President Poopy Pants is clearly the worst president this country has ever had. By the way, someone finally beat Jimmy Carter. That's awesome. President Poopy Pants has to try to do something now to win over the American public to try to increase his abysmal approval ratings, especially on COVID management. So what does he do? He announces that he's going to send every American a package of 3 N95 masks. Wow! How generous of him. So wait, what happens after I change my mask 3 times in one day? What do I wear tomorrow, you freaking idiot? Don't tell me that you, President Braindead, are wearing the same mask every day. Oh wait, maybe you are. That would explain the brain deterioration you're obviously showing signs of whenever you speak. On the other hand, you math-ignorant fool, there are almost 330 million people in America. Do you actually have 900 million masks ready to ship? Do you have the cooperation of the post office? The post office who recently said that it takes at least 5 days to deliver first-class mail? When are they going out? I know. They'll be shipped along with my free COVID test sometime at the end of the summer to get us ready for the next variant you and your manipulative devil-worshipping minion will be releasing to help win the midterms. All right, I want to thank all the listeners on WWDB Radio in Philadelphia, and I want to thank you for your continued support. If you're enjoying the show, please reach out and let us know. You can leave comments on the WWDB fan page and look for us online. My name is Larry Steinhaus, and I am the host of Money Chat Now. And of course, from time to time, I own some of the assets and options discussed in the show, and the opinions discussed in the show is solely mine. Have a profitable day.